The stars looked peaceful today. Captain Yun Tae-min stood on the bridge of the peaceful harbor and watched the empty space ahead. His ship was big and white, with smooth curves that made it look friendly. The Galactic Trade Consortium had built it for meeting new people, not for fighting. "Captain," said Communications Officer Dal Sora from her station, "I am getting something strange on the scanners." Yun Tae-min walked over to look at her screen. A small dot appeared there, moving slowly. "What is it?" "Unknown ship, sir. It looks like it is just floating there. No power signature, no movement. Maybe it is broken." Science Officer Park Jun-ho turned from his own screen. "Should I run a full scan, Captain?" "Yes, do it. But be careful. We don't know who built that ship." Park Jun-ho pressed buttons on his control panel. Blue light filled his screen as the scanners reached out to touch the strange vessel. "It's about 2 kilometers long, Captain. Made of some kind of metal. Very basic design. Looks old." Dal Sora tried to contact the ship. She sent the standard greeting message that all Trade Consortium ships used when they met someone new. "Hello, unknown vessel. This is the trade ship Peaceful Harbor. Please respond." Nothing came back. Just empty space and silence. "Try again," said Captain Yun Tae-min. "Hello, unknown vessel. We are peaceful traders. Do you need help?" Still nothing. Park Jun-ho looked up from his scanner screen. "Captain, this ship is very strange. The design is not like anything in our database. The metal is rough and thick. Their engines are simple fusion drives, very old technology. Their shields are basic energy barriers." "Where do you think it came from?" asked Yun Tae-min. "I don't know, sir. Maybe from the edge systems. Some planets still use old technology like this." The ship on the screen looked dark and quiet. It had a long, thin shape with wings that stuck out from the sides. The metal looked gray and worn. There were no lights showing, no signs of life. "Looks like a warship," said Tactical Officer Choi Dong-wook. He was looking at his own screens. "See those things sticking out from the hull? Those look like weapon mounts." Captain Yun Tae-min nodded. Many ships carried weapons for protection. Space could be dangerous, especially near the edge of known space. Pirates and raiders often attacked trade ships. "Any life signs?" he asked. Park Jun-ho checked his scanners again. "Hard to tell, Captain. The ship's hull is very thick. Our scanners can't get through very well. But I think there might be people inside." Dal Sora kept trying to contact the ship. She used different frequencies and different languages. The Trade Consortium taught all its officers to speak many languages for first contact situations like this. "Maybe their communication system is broken," she said. "Or maybe they don't want to talk," said Choi Dong-wook. Captain Yun Tae-min thought about this. In his 20 years of service, he had met many different kinds of people. Some were friendly, some were scared, and some were dangerous. But most people wanted to talk when they met strangers in space. "Keep trying to contact them," he told Dal Sora. "Park Jun-ho, I want a complete scan of that ship. Find out everything you can about it." "Yes, sir." The bridge became busy as everyone worked. Dal Sora sent message after message to the quiet ship. Park Jun-ho ran scan after scan, trying to learn more about the strange vessel. The other officers watched their screens and waited. The ship they were looking at was called the Iron Will. The name was written on its side in letters that none of them could read. If they could read it, they might have been more careful. "Captain," said Park Jun-ho after a few minutes, "I'm getting some strange readings." "What kind of strange?" "The hull shows signs of damage, lots of damage, but it has been repaired many times. There are burn marks from energy weapons, holes that have been patched from kinetic weapons, and areas where the metal has been melted and reformed. Captain Yoon Tae-min came to look at the scanner data. The ship's hull did show many signs of battle. Deep scars ran along its sides. Dark burn marks covered its surface. Patches of newer metal covered old holes. "This ship has been in many fights," he said. "Yes, sir. But that's not the strangest part." "What else?" Park Jun-ho pointed to his screen. "Look at this. The damage patterns are from many different kinds of weapons. Energy beams, plasma cannons, particle accelerators, kinetic projectiles. Each type comes from different species that build weapons differently. So this ship has fought many different enemies?" "It looks like it, sir." Dal Sora looked up from her communication station. "Captain, I'm still getting no response. But I think I detected some kind of low-power signal coming from the ship." "What kind of signal?" "It's very weak. Maybe some kind of passive scanning beam. They might be looking at us too." Captain Yoon Tae-min felt a small worry in his chest. The ship looked old and primitive, but it had clearly been in many battles. Ships didn't survive that many fights unless they were very good at fighting back. "Park Jun-ho, can you scan inside the ship?" "I can try, sir. Their hull is thick, but our scanners are good." Park Jun-ho worked at his controls, sending deeper scanning beams toward the mystery ship. The beams went through the outer hull and into the ship's interior. What he saw there would change everything. But for now, the bridge was quiet except for the soft sounds of the ship's systems. Captain Yoon Tae-min stood with his hands behind his back, watching the dark ship on the main screen. Dal Sora kept sending friendly messages that got no answers. Park Jun-ho kept scanning, going deeper and deeper into the mystery ship's secrets. None of them knew that they were about to discover something that would scare them more than anything they had ever seen. The quiet ship ahead of them held secrets that would make them run in terror. But right now, it just looked like another broken ship floating in the dark. Space was full of broken ships and lost travelers. The Trade Consortium found them all the time and helped when they could. This looked like just another rescue mission. They were very, very wrong. Park Jun-ho stared at his scanner screen and felt his 3 hearts stop beating for a moment. The deep scan of the unknown ship was complete, and what he saw made no sense. He blinked his large eyes and looked again, hoping he was wrong. He was not wrong. "Captain," he said in a quiet voice. "You need to see this." Captain Yoon Tae-min walked over to the science station. "What did you find?" Park Jun-ho pointed at his screen with a shaking finger. "Look at the ship's interior, sir. The corridors, the walls, everything." The scanner showed the inside of the mystery ship in blue and green lines. The ship had long corridors that ran from front to back. There were many rooms and levels, but that was not what made Park Jun-ho afraid. The walls were covered with things. Lots of things. "What are those?" asked Captain Yoon Tae-min. "They look like pieces of other ships, sir. Hull fragments, weapon parts, control panels. They are attached to the walls like decorations." Chief Medical Officer Kang Mi-young came over to look. She was the ship's doctor and knew about biology and life forms. She looked at the scanner data and made a soft sound of fear. "Those are not just decorations," she said. "Look at the patterns, the way they are arranged. These are trophies." "Trophies?" asked Captain Yoon Tae-min. "Yes, sir. Many warrior species collect trophies from their victories. They take pieces of enemy ships or weapons to show their success in battle." Park Jun-ho made his scanner look deeper. The computer analyzed what it saw and gave them more information. Each piece attached to the walls came from a different kind of ship, different metals, different designs, different technologies. "Captain," said Park Jun-ho. "The computer says these pieces come from 17 different ship types, all from different species." Dal Sora stopped trying to contact the mystery ship and came over to look. 17? That ship has fought 17 different kinds of enemies? "It looks like it," said Park Jun-ho, but the scanner found something else, something worse. "Captain," said Kang Mi-young, "I'm reading biological matter on some of those trophy pieces." "What kind of biological matter?" "Blood, sir. Dried blood. From many different species. The scanner can identify at least 12 different DNA patterns." The bridge became very quiet. Everyone stopped what they were doing and looked at the scanner screen. The mystery ship suddenly did not look like a broken vessel that needed help. It looked like something much more dangerous. Captain Yoon Tae-min felt cold. "Are you saying this ship has killed people from 12 different species?" "The evidence suggests that, sir." Park Jun-ho continued scanning. He found more trophies in other parts of the ship, pieces of armor, fragments of weapons, parts of control systems, all taken from different enemies, all arranged carefully on the walls. "There's more, Captain," said Park Jun-ho. "I'm finding command insignia, rank markers, even what look like personal items. Watches, jewelry, small tools." "Personal items from the dead," whispered Dal So-ra. Tactical Officer Choi Dong-wook came to look at the data. As the ship's military expert, he understood what they were seeing better than the others. "This is not normal military behavior," he said. "Regular warships don't collect trophies like this. This is the behavior of hunters, predators." Kang Mi-young ran the biological scans through the medical computer. It compared the DNA samples with the ship's database of known species. What it found made her step back from her console. "Captain, some of these blood samples, they come from species that are supposed to be very dangerous. The database lists them as extreme threats." "What do you mean?" "Species that other civilizations avoid. Warrior races that most people run away from or pay tribute to keep them happy." Park Jun-ho pulled up the ship design database and started comparing the trophy pieces with known vessel types. The computer worked quickly, matching metals and designs with recorded ship classes. "Captain, I'm getting matches on some of these hull fragments. This piece here came from a Chronari warship. This one is from a Vex assault cruiser. And this is from a Stellar Corsair raider." Everyone on the bridge knew those names. The Chronari were massive, violent beings who lived only for battle. The Vex were a hive mind species that attacked everything they met. The Stellar Corsairs were pirates who had terrorized the galaxy for centuries. "Are you telling me," said Captain Yoon Tae-min slowly, "that whoever built this ship has defeated Chronari warriors, Vex assault forces, and Stellar Corsairs?" "The evidence says yes, sir." Dal So-ra looked at the quiet ship on the main screen. "What kind of species could do that?" "I don't know," said Choi Dong-wook, "but I don't want to meet them." Kang Mi-young was still studying the biological data. "Captain, there's something else. The blood samples show signs of recent collection. Some of this is only weeks old." "You mean they are still hunting?" "It appears so, sir." Park Jun-ho found more disturbing things in his scans. The ship's cargo holds contained more trophies. Entire sections of enemy ships, complete weapon systems, even what looked like personal quarters taken from defeated vessels. "This ship is like a floating museum of conquest," he said. "They have been collecting these things for a long time." The scanner also showed that the ship was well maintained despite its battle damage. The crew had repaired every hole, fixed every system, and kept everything working perfectly. This was not an abandoned derelict. This was an active warship with a living crew. Sir, said Choi Dong-wook, we should leave, now. Captain Yoon Tae-min looked at the scanner data one more time. The evidence was clear. The ship ahead of them belonged to a species that hunted the galaxy's most dangerous predators. They took trophies from their kills and kept them as decorations. Dal. Sora, stop trying to contact them, he said. Yes, sir. Park Jun-ho, save all this data and send it to the ship's AI for analysis. I want to know everything about those trophy pieces. Yes, Captain. But as Park Jun-ho worked to download the scanner data, something happened that made everyone's blood turn cold. The mystery ship's power signature suddenly changed. Systems that had been dark began to glow with energy. The ship was waking up. Captain, said Dal So-ra in a frightened voice, I think they know we're here. The ship's AI worked very fast. Park Jun-ho had given it all the scanner data about the trophy pieces, and now it was checking each fragment against the massive galactic database. The AI had records of every known ship design, weapon system, and species in the galaxy. What it found made the computer's circuits spark with alarm. Analysis complete, said the AI in its calm voice. But Captain Yoon Tae-min could hear something different in the tone. Even the AI sounded worried. Show us what you found, said the captain. The main screen changed from showing the mystery ship to showing a list of matches. Each trophy piece was identified with a picture and description. As the list grew longer, everyone on the bridge became more frightened. Hull fragment, match confirmed. Kronari battlecruiser, Death's Edge class. These ships are used by Kronari berserker units. Length, 3,000 meters. Crew, 800 Kronari warriors. Status and database, extremely dangerous. Warning. All civilian vessels should avoid Kronari territory. Park Jun-ho felt sick. The Kronari were giants, each one 3 meters tall and covered in natural armor. They lived only to fight and die in battle. Their ships were weapons of terror that most civilizations feared to even name. Weapon component, match confirmed, Vex plasma cannon Mark 7, used on Vex hive ship assault vessels. These weapons can destroy a city in one shot. Status in database, Planet Killer class weapon. Warning, if you see a Vex ship, run immediately. Kang. Mi-young sat down hard in her chair. The Vex were a nightmare species that shared one mind across millions of bodies. When they attacked, they came in swarms that blocked out the stars. Their plasma cannons could burn through any defense. Control panel fragment, match confirmed. Stellar Corsair Command Console, Raider class. Used by Corsair captains to control. Fleet operations. Status in database. High priority target. Reward posted. 50 million credits for any information leading to Corsair defeat. The Stellar Corsairs were the most feared pirates in the galaxy. They had been raiding trade routes for over 500 years. The Trade Consortium had tried many times to stop them and failed every time. Now they just paid tribute to keep the pirates away from important trade routes. Personal armor fragment, match confirmed, Void Walker battlesuit, worn by Void Walker assault troops. These soldiers are genetically modified for combat and fear nothing. Status in database, extinct species. Last confirmed sighting, 200 years ago. Dal So-ra made a sound of surprise. Extinct? How can they have a trophy from an extinct species? Maybe, said Choi Dong-wook quietly. They are the ones who made them extinct. The list kept growing. Each new match was worse than the last. Weapon sight, match confirmed, Nightmare Legion sniper scope, used by Legion assassins for long-range elimination missions. Status in database, banned by galactic law. Warning, Legion snipers have never missed a target. Hull marking, match. Confirmed. Blood Moon cult ritual scarring. Found on cult warships used for sacrifice ceremonies. Status in database. Destroy on sight. Warning. The Blood Moon cult considers all other life forms to be offerings to their gods. Power core fragment match confirmed. Shadow Fleet dark matter reactor. Technology classified above top secret. Status in database. Unknown capabilities. Warning. Shadow Fleet vessels can appear and disappear without warning. Captain Yoon Tae-min looked at his crew. Every face showed the same expression of growing terror. The mystery ship was not just a warship. It was a floating graveyard of the galaxy's most dangerous enemies. AI, he said. How many of these species are still considered active threats? 14 of the 17 species represented by trophy. Fragments are still active and considered galactic-level threats by the Trade Consortium. 2 species are listed as extinct. 1 species is classified as unknown. What about the extinct ones? The Void Walkers were last seen attacking Trade Route 7 approximately 200 years ago. An entire fleet of 50 ships vanished overnight. The Crimson Tide Raiders were eliminated 150 years ago when their home planet was destroyed by an unknown force. Choi Dong-wook stood up suddenly. Captain, we need to leave immediately. Right now. Why? Don't you understand what we're looking at? This ship belongs to a species that hunts apex predators for sport. They don't just defeat these enemies. They collect pieces of them like hunting trophies. Park Jun-ho looked at more scanner data. Captain, I'm reading at least 400 different trophy pieces throughout that ship. If each piece represents a separate victory, they have won 400 battles against the galaxy's most dangerous enemies, finished Kang Mi-young. The AI continued its analysis. Additional data. Many trophy pieces show signs of being taken during active combat situations. Blast damage, energy, burns, and kinetic impact marks suggest these items were removed from enemy vessels during or immediately after battle. They rip pieces off enemy ships while they're still fighting, whispered Dal So-ra. Captain Yoon Tae-min walked to the main screen and stared at the mystery ship. It looked so ordinary, so primitive. But now he knew what it really was. It was a predator's den filled with the remains of its kills. AI, based on this data, what kind of species are we dealing with? Analysis suggests a highly aggressive warrior culture with advanced military capabilities despite primitive-appearing technology. Psychological profile indicates a species that views galactic-level threats as acceptable targets for combat. Recommendation: immediate withdrawal to safe distance. How far is a safe distance? Unknown, Captain. No data exists on the combat range of this species' weapon systems. Suddenly, alarms began to sound throughout the ship. The mystery vessel's power signature was growing stronger. Lights were coming on along its hull. Its engines were starting to warm up. Captain, shouted Choi Dong-wook from his tactical station, the ship is powering weapon systems. What kind of weapons? I don't know, sir. The energy patterns are unlike anything in our database. Park Jun-ho checked his scanners again. Captain, I'm detecting massive power buildups throughout the ship. Whatever weapons they have, they're getting ready to use them. The mystery ship began to turn toward them. Its movement was slow but steady, like a large predator waking up and focusing on its prey. All hands to battle stations, ordered Captain Yoon Tae-min. Prepare for emergency jump to hyperspace. But even as his crew rushed to follow orders, the captain knew it might be too late. They had spent too much time studying their enemy and not enough time running away from it. The hunters were awake and they had noticed their visitors. Inside the Iron Will, Captain Lee Seok-jin stretched in his command chair and yawned. He had been taking a nap when the ship's computer woke him up with news about their visitors. How long have they been out there? He asked Commander Han Yu-jin, who was sitting at the next station over. About an hour, sir. They've been scanning us pretty thoroughly. Their beams are quite primitive, but they're persistent. Captain Lee looked at the main screen, which showed the alien ship. It was much larger than the Iron Will, with smooth white curves and no visible weapons. It looked like a civilian vessel, maybe a trade ship or exploration craft. Have they tried to contact us? Yes, sir. They've been sending greeting messages on multiple frequencies, standard first contact protocols by the look of it. Why didn't you wake me sooner? Commander Han smiled. You look tired, sir. Besides, their messages are friendly. Just basic, hello, do you need help kind of stuff. Weapons Officer Nam Gi-soo looked up from his station. Captain, they're using some kind of deep penetration scanner. Pretty basic stuff, but they're really trying to see inside our ship. Can they see much? Not really. Their scanners can't get through our hull plating very well, but they might be able to see some of the trophy room displays. Captain Lee nodded. The trophy room was his crew's favorite, part of the ship. They had collected interesting pieces from all their missions over the years. Weapon fragments, hull pieces, command insignia, personal items. It was like a museum of all the problems they had solved. Should we answer their messages? Asked Communications. Officer Shin Woo-young. In a minute. Let me wake up properly first. Captain Lee stood up and walked to the coffee machine. Space travel was long and boring, and coffee helped pass the time. Sir, said Engineer Kim Tae-hyun from his station, their ship design is quite interesting. Very advanced materials, sophisticated power systems, elegant engineering, much more. Refined than our stuff. Our stuff works fine, said Nam Gi-soo. Function over form. That's the human way. I'm not criticizing, just observing. Their technology is different from ours, more focused on efficiency and beauty. Captain Lee sipped his coffee and looked at the alien ship again. What do you think they want? Probably just curious about us, said Commander Han. We're pretty far from the main trade routes. They might not have seen a human ship before. Are we the first humans they've met? Could be, sir. First contact situations are always interesting. Science Officer Park Hyun-woo was studying the alien ship with their own scanners. Captain, their ship appears to be unarmed. No weapons that I can detect. Looks like a pure civilian vessel. Peaceful explorers, maybe? That would be my guess, sir. Captain Lee finished his coffee and sat back down. All right, let's say hello properly. Shin Woo-young, open a channel. Yes, sir. What should I tell them? Standard greeting. Tell them we're the UTS Iron Will, we're peaceful, and we're happy to meet them. Should I mention what we do? What to do? You mean? Well, sir, we're returning from a mission. Should I tell them we just finished clearing out that pirate base in the Vega sector? Captain Lee thought about it. Sure, why not? Might be useful for them to know the area is safer now. On the alien ship, the crew was in full panic mode. They had no idea that the humans were just having a normal conversation about whether to answer the phone. Sir, said Navigator Oh Min-jun, should we set a course for somewhere specific? Where were we planning to go next? Commander Han checked the mission schedule. The Admiralty wants us to investigate reports of stellar corsair activity near the Antares system. Ah, right, more pirates. Well, no rush. Let's talk to our new friends first. Tactical Officer Jang Soo-min looked at her screens. Captain, the alien ship seems to be getting nervous. Their power systems are fluctuating and they're moving around quite a bit. Maybe they're not used to meeting new people. Some species are shy. Should we move closer? Might make communication easier? Good idea. Oh, Min-jun, bring us closer to the alien ship. Nice and slow, don't want to scare them. Yes, sir. The iron will began moving toward the peaceful harbor. Its engines glowed with blue energy as it crossed the distance between the two ships. Security Chief Yang Hyun-soo looked up from his station. Captain, I'm detecting some interesting energy signatures from the alien ship. They might be charging. Their engines. Getting ready to leave? Possibly, sir, or maybe just being cautious. Can't blame them for that. We probably look pretty scary with all our battle damage. Captain Lee looked around his ship's bridge. The walls were decorated with interesting pieces they had collected over the years. A Chronari axe head from their last encounter with berserkers. A Vex navigation crystal from that hive ship they had destroyed. A Stellar Corsair captain's hat from their most recent mission. You know, he said, we should probably repair some of this hull damage. We look like we've been through a war. We have been through several wars, sir, said Commander Han. True, but we don't want to scare the neighbors. Engineer Kim Tae-hyun laughed. Sir, with respect, I think it's a bit late for that. We've got burn marks from plasma cannons, holes from kinetic weapons, and scorch marks from energy beams. Any military expert would recognize battle damage. Are they military? Science Officer Park Hyun-woo studied the alien ship's design. Doesn't look like it, sir. No armor, no weapons, no military markings. Definitely a civilian vessel. Then they probably don't know what battle damage looks like. We're fine. Communications Officer Shin Woo-young had prepared the greeting message. Captain, ready to transmit. Go. Ahead. Unknown vessel. This is the United Terran ship Iron Will. We are peaceful explorers from the planet Earth. We greet you in friendship and hope for good relations between our peoples. The message went out on multiple frequencies, translated into several common galactic languages. Should I mention our recent mission? Asked Shin Woo-young. Sure. Might be helpful information for them. Unknown vessel. We are returning from a successful peacekeeping operation in the Vega sector. The area is now safe for civilian traffic. We are available to provide navigation data if you are traveling in that direction. Captain Lee nodded approvingly. Good message. Friendly and helpful. What he didn't know was that on the alien ship, his helpful message was being interpreted as a threat display from a species that hunted apex predators for sport. The cultural misunderstanding was about to get much worse. On the bridge of the peaceful harbor, everyone froze when the human message came through the speakers. Dal Sora played it back 3 times to make sure she had heard it correctly. They said they completed a successful peacekeeping operation. In the Vega sector, she reported to Captain Yoon Tae-min. Peacekeeping operation? The captain felt ice in his stomach. The Vega sector was a death zone. No trade consortium ship had gone there in 50 years. The Stellar Corsairs had claimed it as their hunting ground, and anyone who entered never came back. Sir, said Park Jun-ho, his voice shaking, they're saying the area is now safe for civilian traffic. That means they eliminated the Stellar Corsairs. Tactical Officer Choi Dong-wook stared at his screens in horror. The entire Corsair fleet was based in Vega. We're talking about hundreds of ships and thousands of pirates. These humans wiped them out and call it a peacekeeping operation. Chief Medical Officer Kang Mi-young looked at the biological scanner data again. The fresh blood samples made sense now. The recent blood traces I found, they're from Stellar Corsairs. The human ship was still moving toward them, slow but steady. Its damaged hull looked even more threatening now that they knew what those scars represented. Each burn mark was proof of another victory against impossible odds. Captain, said Navigator Lim Hae-won, We need to jump to hyperspace. Now. Can we? Our engines are ready, but we need time to calculate a safe jump. Engineer Baek In-ho was frantically working at his station. I'm trying to boost power to the engines, but it takes time to charge the hyperspace coils. Captain Yoon Tae-min watched the human ship approach. It was less than a kilometer away now. He could see details on its hull, the patches where weapons had been repaired, the scorched areas where enemy fire had hit, the places where new armor had been welded over old damage. "What do you think they want with us?" whispered Dal Sora. "Maybe they collect more than just pieces," said Choi Dong-wook. "Maybe they take live specimens, too." The human ship sent another message. Dal Sora played it through the bridge speakers with a trembling hand. "Peaceful Harbor. We see you are a trade consortium vessel. We have had good relations with consortium traders in the past. We are happy to share navigation data about safe routes through this sector." "Safe routes," repeated Park Jun-ho. "Routes that are safe because they killed everything dangerous along them." "Sir," said Kang Mi-young, "what if they're offering to let us go? Maybe they're not planning to attack us. Or maybe they're playing with us," said Choi Dong-wook. "Predators sometimes play with their prey before killing it." Another message came from the human ship. This time the voice sounded different, more casual. "We notice you have been scanning our vessel. We don't mind. Most people are curious about human ships. We know we look pretty beat up, but that's what happens when you spend your time cleaning up the dangerous parts of space." "Cleaning up the dangerous parts of space," repeated Captain Yoon Tae-min. That was how they described their hunting activities. Like it was a normal job. "They think it's normal," said Dal Sora in amazement. "They act like hunting apex predators is just regular work." Engineer Baek In-ho looked up from his controls. "Hyperspace engines are at 60% charge. I need more time." The human ship was now only 500 meters away. Captain Yoon Tae-min could see movement through some of its windows. The creatures inside looked small and soft, not like the massive warriors he had expected. How can such small beings defeat Chronari berserkers? He wondered aloud. "Maybe they use superior technology," suggested Park Jun-ho. "Or maybe they attack in large numbers." "Or maybe," said Choi Dong-wook grimly, "they're more dangerous than they look." Another message came from the humans. "We're going to match velocity with your ship to make communication easier. Don't worry. We're not armed for ship-to-ship combat right now. Our main weapons are powered down for maintenance." "Their main weapons are powered down," said Dal Sora with relief. "That means they have weapons powerful enough to need powering down," corrected Choi Dong-wook. "What kind of weapons require that much energy?" Park Jun-ho was studying the human ship's energy patterns. "I'm detecting massive power reserves, Captain. Much more than a ship that size should have. And there are energy conduits running throughout the hull that I can't identify." "Hidden weapons?" "Possibly, sir. Or weapons so advanced our scanners can't recognize them." The human ship moved into a parallel course with the peaceful harbor. It was close enough now that they could see individual crew members through the windows. The humans looked remarkably normal. 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 head each. They appeared to be working at control stations and talking to each other. "They look so ordinary," said Kang Mi-young. "The most dangerous predators often do," replied Choi. "Dong-wook, it helps them get close to their prey." Another human message arrived. "Peaceful Harbor. We're curious about your ship design. Very elegant engineering. Our ships are built more for durability than beauty, as you can probably tell. We'd be happy to exchange technical data if you're interested. Technical data, said Park Jun-ho. They want to learn about our ship systems. Of course they do, said Choi Dong-wook. Intelligence gathering before an attack. Captain Yoon Taemin made a decision. Baek In-ho, what's our hyperspace engine? Status? 80% charge, sir. Almost ready. Prepare for emergency jump. Dal So-ra, send a message to the human ship. What should I tell them, sir? Tell them we appreciate their offer, but we have urgent business elsewhere. Be polite, but firm. Dal So-ra composed a careful message. UTS Iron will thank you for your kind offers of assistance. We have urgent business in another sector and must depart immediately. We wish you safe travels. The response came back almost instantly. No problem, Peaceful Harbor. We understand busy schedules. Safe travels to you too. If you ever need help with hostile forces in your trade routes, feel free to contact the Terran Defense Force. We're always happy to help with pest control. Pest control, whispered Park Jun-ho. They call eliminating galactic threats pest control. Sir, said Baek In-ho, hyperspace engines are fully charged, ready to jump. Do it. Now. The peaceful harbor vanished in a flash of blue light, leaving the human ship alone in space. On the bridge of the Iron Will, Captain Lee Seok-jin shrugged. Friendly folks. Seemed a bit nervous, though. First contact situations can be stressful, said Commander Han Yu-jin. They probably just needed time to process meeting a new species. Should we follow up with their government? Might be a good idea, sir. The trade consortium could be useful partners. Add it to the list. Right now we should head to Antares. Those Corsair reports won't investigate themselves. The human ship turned toward its next destination, completely unaware that it had just terrified a crew of peaceful traders into fleeing for their lives. The peaceful harbor jumped through hyperspace for 3 hours before Captain Yoon Tae-min felt safe enough to stop. They emerged near a trade consortium monitoring station, surrounded by friendly ships and defensive platforms. We're safe, announced Navigator Lim Hae-won with relief. But Captain Yoon Tae-min wasn't satisfied with just running away. He needed to understand what they had encountered. Park Jun-ho, did you record the human communications? Yes, sir. Every word. Good. Run them through the linguistic analysis computer. I want to know everything we can learn about their language and culture. Right away, Captain. While Park Jun-ho worked, Chief Historian Ryu Yoon-suk came to the bridge. She was an elderly woman who knew more about galactic history than anyone else on the ship. The captain had called her when they reached safety. Captain, you said you met a new species? One that seemed dangerous? Very dangerous. They had trophies from 17 different enemy species, including some that are supposed to be galactic-level threats. Ryu Yoon-suk sat down at an empty station and connected her personal computer to the ship's database. Show me what you found. Park Jun-ho transferred all the scanner data to her system. Ryu Yoon-suk studied the images of the trophy pieces, comparing them with historical records. Interesting, she said after a few minutes. These trophy patterns are consistent with several unexplained events in recent galactic history. What do you mean? Well, for example, the Void Walker extinction. The official records say they vanished suddenly about 200 years ago. Their entire fleet was found drifting empty near the outer rim. No survivors, no explanation. You think humans did that? It's possible. Look at this trophy piece. It's from a Void Walker command ship, the same class of vessel that was found in the graveyard fleet. Dal So-ra looked up from her communication station. Captain, I've been analyzing the human language patterns. The computer has identified several interesting phrases. such as they referred to eliminating the stellar corsairs as cleaning up dangerous parts of space. They called potential assistance with hostile forces pest control. These terms suggest they view galactic threats as problems to be solved, not enemies to be feared. Park Jun-ho found more data in the ship's computer. Captain, I cross-referenced the human ship's energy signatures with historical records. There are similar signatures recorded at several sites where major threat species have been eliminated. Show me. The main screen displayed a star map with red dots marking various locations. This dot is where the Crimson Tide Raiders were eliminated 150 years ago. This one is where the Night Stalker pirates vanished 75 years ago. This one is where the Blood Moon cult ships were found destroyed 30 years ago. All locations where humans might have been operating? The energy signatures match, sir. Ryu Yun-suk pulled up more historical files. Captain, I'm finding a pattern here. For the past 200 years, various hostile species have been disappearing from the galaxy. Not all at once, but steadily. The Mahdi official reports always list the cause as unknown or internal conflicts. But you think humans were responsible? The evidence is circumstantial, but compelling. Each disappearance happened near the edge of what we now know is human space. Chief Medical Officer Kang Mi-young joined the discussion. I've been thinking about those blood samples. 12 different species, all from dangerous enemies. But the ages of the samples suggest they weren't all collected at the same time. What do you mean? The humans have been hunting these species for years, maybe decades. This isn't a recent development. It's been their normal behavior for a long time. Tactical Officer Choi Dong-wook studied the human ship's design files that Park Jun-ho had scanned. Look at this hull configuration. It's designed for combat, but not the kind of combat we're used to. How so? Our warships are built to fight other ships of similar technology levels, but this human ship is built to fight things that are much more dangerous than normal ships. The armor placement, the weapon mounts, the power distribution. Everything is designed to handle extreme threats. Dal Sora intercepted more human communications from the monitoring station's records. Captain, I'm finding references to something called the Terran Defense Force. The humans mentioned it in their message to us. What about it? According to these communications, it's not actually a defensive organization. It's more like a cleaning service. Cleaning service? Park Jun-ho pulled up the communications data. Listen to this recorded message from a human military channel. TDF Unit 7 reports successful elimination of hostile nest in Sector 12. Area now safe for civilian traffic. Proceeding to Sector 15 to investigate raider activity. They're systematically clearing hostile forces from space, said Ryu Yun-suk in amazement. Not for conquest, not for resources, but just to make the galaxy safer. But why? Asked Captain. Yoon Tae-min Kang Mi-young found the answer in the human cultural data. According to their communications, they believe it's their responsibility. They think that if they can eliminate a threat, they should eliminate it. Not for personal gain, but because it's the right thing to do. They're crusaders, said Choi Dong-wook. Holy warriors fighting evil. No, corrected Ryu Yun-suk. It's simpler than that. They're problem solvers. They see dangerous species terrorizing innocent people and they fix the problem. The bridge became quiet as everyone processed this information. The galaxy's most feared predators weren't being hunted by other predators. They were being eliminated by a species that saw their existence as a problem to be solved. Captain, said Park Jun-ho slowly, if this is true, then humans have been secretly protecting the entire galaxy for centuries. and we never knew about it. Why would we? From our perspective, dangerous species just disappear sometimes. We assumed it was natural causes or internal conflicts. We never imagined that someone was actively hunting them. Dal Sora looked at the communication records. Again, they offered to help us with pest control in our trade routes. They were offering to eliminate any threats we might be having trouble with. For free? It seems like it, sir. They didn't mention payment or trade agreements, just offered to help. Captain Yoon Tae-min walked to the main screen and stared at the star map. Red dots marked the locations where humanity had solved problems that the rest of the galaxy had simply accepted as unchangeable facts of life. "We need to contact Consortium Command immediately," he said. "This changes everything." "What do we tell them?" asked Dal Sora. "The truth. We've discovered a species that's been protecting the galaxy without asking for anything in return. And we ran away from them because we were too scared to say thank you." 3 days later, Captain Yoon Tae-min received a message that made him very nervous. Trade Consortium Command wanted him to go back and make contact with the humans again. This time, they wanted him to establish formal relations. "Are you sure about this?" he asked Commander Park Jong-soo, who had come aboard as a diplomatic representative. "The Consortium Council met for 12 hours, said Park Jong-soo. "They reviewed all your data and came to the same conclusion. These humans are protecting the galaxy, and we need to talk to them properly." "But they're so dangerous." "Dangerous to our enemies, Captain. That's exactly why we need them as friends. The peaceful harbor found the human ship exactly where the computer had predicted it would be, in the Antares system, investigating reports of stellar Corsair activity. The system looked completely normal, with no signs of the pirate fleets that had terrorized it for years. "They already finished their work here," said Science Officer Park Jun-ho. "I'm not detecting any hostile ships in the entire system." "How fast do they work?" wondered Navigator Lim Hai-wan. "Very fast, apparently." The human ship Iron Will was orbiting the fourth planet, running scans of some kind. When it detected the approaching Trade Consortium vessel, it immediately sent a friendly message. "Peaceful harbor, good to see you again. We were just finishing up some cleanup work here. The Antares system is now completely safe for civilian traffic." Captain Yoon Tae-min took a deep breath. "Dal Sora, open a channel. It's time to try this properly. Iron Will, this is Captain Yoon Tae-min of the Trade Consortium ship Peaceful Harbor. We would like to formally thank you for your efforts to make space safer for all peaceful species." There was a pause before the human response came back. "Well, that's very kind of you to say, Captain. We're just doing our job. Are you having any trouble with hostile forces in your trade routes? We'd be happy to take a look." Commander Park Jong-soo leaned forward. "Ask them about their government. We need to establish diplomatic contact." "Iron Will, we would like to open formal communications between our governments. The Trade Consortium would be very interested in establishing friendly relations with humanity." "That sounds great, Captain. Let me put you through to Captain Lee Seok-jin. He handles most of our diplomatic contacts." A new voice came through, the speaker's warm and friendly. "Captain Yoon Tae-min, this is Lee Seok-jin. Welcome to the Antares system. I hope you don't mind that we cleaned up the pirate problem here. They were getting a bit too aggressive for civilian safety." "You eliminated the entire stellar Corsair fleet?" "Oh, not the entire fleet. Just the ships that were based in this system, maybe 40 or 50 ships total. The main Corsair fleet is much larger, but they operate mostly in the outer rim sectors." Park Jun-ho looked at his scanner data. The remains of destroyed ships were scattered throughout the system. Massive vessels that had once terrorized trade routes were now just debris fields. "Captain Lee," said Yoon Tai Min carefully. How long did this operation take? About 6 hours of actual combat time. Most of the work was just finding all their hidden bases. Pirates are sneaky that way. 6 hours, whispered Dal Sora. They destroyed an entire pirate fleet in 6 hours. Commander, Park Jong-soo spoke up. Captain Lee, I am Commander Park Jong-soo, representing the Trade Consortium Diplomatic Corps. We would like to propose a formal meeting between our governments. That sounds wonderful, Commander. We're always interested in meeting peaceful neighbors. Where would you like to meet? Perhaps at one of our diplomatic stations. Station Alpha 7 is nearby and has excellent conference facilities. We'd be happy to visit. Should I bring my whole crew, or would you prefer a smaller diplomatic party? A smaller party would be fine. Perhaps just your senior officers? Perfect. We can be there in 2 days. Is there anything special we should know about your customs or protocols? Park Jong-soo smiled. The humans were being very polite and considerate. Nothing special, Captain Lee. Just standard diplomatic procedures. Excellent. Oh, one more thing. We're carrying some navigation data you might find useful. We've mapped all the safe routes through this sector, including areas that used to be controlled by hostile forces. That would be very valuable information. Happy to share it. We believe safe trade routes benefit everyone. After the communication ended, Captain Yoon Tai Min looked around his bridge. Everyone seemed more relaxed now. The humans had been polite, friendly, and helpful. Nothing like the terrifying predators they had imagined. They seem nice, said Dal Sora. Very professional, agreed Park Jun-ho, and generous with their information. Commander Park Jong-soo was reviewing his notes. This could be the beginning of a very beneficial relationship. If humans can eliminate pirate threats from our trade routes, it would save the consortium millions of credits in security costs. Should we ask them about other threats? Wondered Tactical Officer Choi Dong-wook. The Vex, the Chronari, the Blood Moon cult? Carefully, said Park Jong-soo. We don't want to seem like we're just asking them to fight our battles for us. But they offered to help with hostile forces, pointed out Dal Sora. They seemed to enjoy that kind of work. Park Jun-ho was analyzing the debris from the destroyed pirate ships. Captain, these Corsair vessels were completely destroyed. No survivors, no escape pods, no disabled ships. The humans were very thorough. So, that good or bad? For us? Very good. Dead pirates can't come back for revenge. For the pirates? Well, they chose their profession. Captain Yoon Tai Min ordered his ship to follow the humans toward Station Alpha 7. As they traveled, he thought about what this meeting might mean for the galaxy. For centuries, peaceful species had simply accepted that dangerous predators existed. They built defenses, hired security, paid tribute, or avoided certain areas of space. It was just the way things were. But humans apparently didn't accept that. They saw problems and fixed them. They saw threats and eliminated them. They saw dangerous areas and cleaned them up. Dal Sora, he said, prepare a full report for Consortium Command. Include everything we've learned about human capabilities and intentions. What should I emphasize, sir? That we've found a species that's been protecting the galaxy for centuries without asking for anything in return, and that we're about to become their friends. 2 days later, the human ship arrived at Station Alpha 7. Captain Lee Seok-jin and 5 of his officers came aboard the station for the meeting. They were polite, friendly, and completely normal-looking. Security Chief Yang Hyun-soo carried a small bag with him. I brought some gifts, he explained. Pieces from our trophy collection. Thought you might find them interesting. Commander Park Jong-soo accepted the bag gratefully, not knowing that he was holding fragments from some of the galaxy's most feared enemies. The diplomatic meeting was about to begin, and the galaxy was about to change forever.